What's up, guys? Adam with Whisker Fisherman TV. Today I wanted to do something a little different. It's not an unboxing. It's basically it's going to be a two-part video. It's going to be my EDC and my get home bag. I actually really want to make this a series where I go into my bug out bags and things like that. But I figured I would start with probably my simplest, which is my get home bag. But any one of these bags, you have to include your EDC. That is what is going to be on you, probably even if you don't have the bag or access to your bags, you should have access to your EDC. So let's just go ahead, jump right into this. I'm going to start with my EDC. Again, this is the stuff that you're probably going to have on you if you don't have anything else. If you can't get to your bags, if you don't have access to your car, which is generally where your get home bag is going to be, this is what you should have access to. For starters, just a canteen, guys. You could go with just a water bottle or preferably a metal one, but single walled, but really just even a plastic bottle. The main thing with this is that you've got to have water. Now with the canteen, it comes with a carabiner, so I do have the ability to hook it to a pack if I need to, and it's also works pretty well for belt carry. The canteen itself, this one is an aluminum canteen. I wouldn't put this on the fire unless I absolutely had to. For one, that plastic top, which I can take off, but again, I wouldn't put that on the fire unless I absolutely had to. Canteen cup, which comes with most of these. Occasionally I do see just the canteen, but generally you're going to get the canteen, you're going to get the cup, and you're going to get the pouch, and the other stuff is add-ons from there. In addition to that, I just keep a Ziploc baggie, which these are just always great to have. Loose stuff, things you want to pick up, whatever. A piece of foil. And this actually is really useful, guys. I use this almost as much as I use the canteen itself. Instead of going out and spending, sometimes these lids for these can be outrageous, like $6 for that. I can't talk myself into buying it. By having a piece of foil in here, guys, I can just fold that over. Helps me boil things a little quicker. And in that, I just keep a pack of convenience store matches. Again, I like these only because they're free. And generally, I do have fire starting with me. Keep a few aqua tabs. Packet of ibuprofen. Packet of antacid. A couple of these matches that I wrap up in waxed paper towels, which are a pretty good fire starter just by themselves. And that's the canteen kit, guys. Again, you could go with pretty much any water bottle, even just a plastic water bottle will probably get you home. I prefer these because I can just reuse it and reuse it and reuse it. And particularly when I'm fishing, I like having the cup so I can warm up coffee and little things like that. I will say, if you do see this model, it is not the best quality on the case. I don't carry this on my belt anymore. It does just generally get strapped to my back. That is something you're going to want to think about. A phone. I'm one of those crazy people, guys, who does not like having a cell phone. Generally, people talk me into getting one around Christmas. They're good to have. This can save you a whole lot of trouble, guys. is just having a phone, the ability to call someone to get you or to call a cab. So a phone has a lot of your contacts and things in there. That's good to have, even, you know, just a simple phone like that. It allows me to make calls. I don't have the GPS and everything, which obviously can come in some real handy. Now this pouch, I don't carry this on my belt. When I say EDC, guys, I mean things that I carry every day. Most of this stuff, if I'm walking into my place of work, I don't bring this with me. If I'm walking somewhere else, I probably will bring this with me. This has your pretty standard emergency radio. I showed you guys this real quick one time, and it should hit the fan unboxing. It's got your NOAA stations, AM, FM. It's actually got a pretty good flashlight. You know, so you've got your strobe, a low beam, and then a high beam. Again, you have your radio. It has a solar panel so that you do have the ability to charge it with sun. It's got your hand crank, which a lot of times, guys, I find that the hand crank's a little more useful than the solar panel. And you know, we all think when we get these things that we're just going to hang it on a pack or something and we're going to go hiking and it's going to charge it. In my experience, that just does not work too often. But it is good to have. And I can always charge it with just a standard cell phone charger. And this does give me the ability to charge things with this. I have not really used it too much, once or twice. It does drain the battery pretty quickly when I do charge things with it, but yeah, I've been carrying this for probably 6 to 8 months. You know, it might be closer to a year. And I get some pretty heavy use out of it, guys, and it's holding up real well. These run about $40 at Walmart. Online, you can usually find the same thing a little cheaper. But these are good to have. And I like it so much I carry it with me every day. That probably looks familiar, which a lot of this stuff is right out of the shit hit the fan box, guys. You know, it's just an aluminum capsule. And in there I keep a few matches and, again, some of those paper towel wrap matches that I like so much. It's a little large. It's a little large to carry in your pocket. This would work well on a keychain. I don't actually carry my keys usually, so I didn't count those with my EDC. Generally, they just stay in my car, which probably not something I want to tell too many people on YouTube, right? But I guess it did. My multi-tool, guys, this is the best multi-tool personally I think that there is. As far as something that's going to last you, all it is, it's a pair of vice grips, which there's a million uses just for vice grips. Get a small knife that's, you know, just kind of tacked onto the outside there. And you get a Phillips head and a flathead screwdriver bit. You can go with a Leatherman, anything you want. This is actually really inexpensive. I think this is less than $10 online. And what I like about it is, again, it's nice to have, I guess, all those files and punches and all those things, but how often do you actually use them? And 90% of the time when I go to my multi-tool, it's for a screwdriver, the knife, or the pliers. Which, if you have ever tried to work with those, at least some of the more inexpensive pairs, they will break fairly quickly. With this, if I lose everything else, I've still got a pretty good set of vice grips. So yeah, guys, I'd check these out. If you're somebody who carries multi-tools, I would look into these because they are pretty inexpensive. And in my experience, they're better, than your typical, at least your inexpensive multi-tools, which is most of the ones that I've had. Because I'm a YouTuber, I always carry a small, this is not a GoPro, but it's pretty much the same thing. In addition to that, I carry an extra battery and a couple SD cards. Generally, the camera that I'm filming on will also go in here. Just didn't today, because I'm using it to film. This pouch itself, guys, runs about $4 online. They're not the best pouches. They're pretty well made, I think. The only problem with them really is the latching system. So you don't really get a waterproof pouch. You don't really have a way to really secure this stuff in there. But for something to throw in a pack, just to keep your things separate, or just again, something you can grab and throw in your car, these do work pretty well. And I use these a lot. I have probably 5 of these pouches in different places. Again, you could buy something better, but I don't really see the point for something that's going in another pack anyway. That's entirely up to you, obviously. That. I generally carry one of these with me pretty much every day. This is one of those pocket MREs that I showed you guys how I put together a while ago. If you want to check that out, that video is homemade pocket MREs. There's a ton of stuff in here. Again, I had to do a whole video just on these. Now this one's a little different. I wrapped it in foil because foil is just handy to have. But there's just a lot of really good stuff in here. Honestly, if I could grab 1 or 2 things, it would probably be this and my belt knife. And it's pretty rare that I go into it, but something as simple as for getting your lunch. I've got something to snack on if I need to. All that stuff generally goes in one of these big, plastic bags, which gives me a way to carry it all. Most of this stuff I can carry on my belt if I need to, the canteen, the pouch, but this is just more convenient when I get up in the morning and I want to grab my stuff and put it in my car, or if I want to throw this stuff into my pack while I'm going to the river or something. Any kind of bag will work. I prefer these kind of Ziploc ones. Vacuum sealing would get way too expensive. A heavy meal trash bag again would work, but it's going to be a little large. Even a kitchen trash bag. So if you have one of these laying around, one of the big, quart Ziploc bags, these are just really good to have, guys. By itself, just by itself, it is a useful item. Pocket knife, which this obviously we're getting into the stuff that goes in my pocket. I don't usually go too expensive with my pocket knives, guys, because I lose them. This again, I think, is about a $6 or $7 knife. It is sharp as all get out. It is pretty well made. I'm not going to beat this up. 90% of the time when I need a pocket knife, it is to cut a box open or to cut fishing line. For me, that is 90% of the time. This gets the job done pretty well. I do not like the tactical knives and the belt cutters and all that stuff. This is not really a self-defense item. This is a utilitarian knife that I carry because I think I'm going to need it. Now, I'm not telling you not to carry those things. What I'm telling you is just think about your situation a little bit. The majority of the time, I think you're going to find that a utility knife is going to get you a lot farther than a tactical knife. again, that's entirely up to you and your situation. You know, our stuff is never going to be exactly the same. Something else that came right out of Shit Hit the Fan box is this little lighter clip case that came with it, which, you know, gives me another little blade. That actually is coming in pretty good handy, guys, and this is holding up pretty well. I was kind of surprised. I thought it would kind of fall apart in my pocket after a couple weeks, but it is holding together really well. A lighter, which again, if you're like me, you smoke, you're going to use one every single day. But aside from that, just general survival, guys. Even again, this bag is really more oriented to being stuck on the side of the road. It's good to have fire. That's about as simple as I can say it. There's really no point in me to keep going over that. I have a way to start fire other than a ferrocerium rod. Those are great, but they can be a little tricky, especially if you're not super used to using one. This is my belt knife. This goes on my belt generally everywhere but work, or sometimes if I'm going to the store I will take it off. But it does come in the car with me. This is the Geotech 21. I'll get on the outside stuff first. Now, I've changed this up a little bit. Obviously, this is not how it came tied. I was finding that I was pretty sure I was going to end up losing it. So I went ahead and tied a ridiculous amount of overhand knots and then threw a rubber band on there. But you get your ferrocerium rod. Just a pretty good rod, guys. It's maybe not the best ever, but it is a pretty good one. And I changed out the little striker that came with it with a blade off of a Sawzall. It does a pretty good spark. And it's not the best saw, but it does give me the ability to do a little bit of sawing if I need to. Again, I don't use this too often. I practice with this. This is not something that I generally start my fires with, but I wanted to have it when I purchased this knife. That was something that I was looking for. Comes with a little sharpening stone. Most people take this out and they put a small lighter in there. I don't. I like having the ability to sharpen my blades, to hone them a little bit if I need to. This is not gonna, at least in my experience, this is not gonna get it razor sharp, but it does give me the ability to, you know, hone my knife a little bit. The actual knife, pretty basic design, guys. It's a really pretty knife. It's got some nice looking G10. It's got some red inlays there if you can make that out. I want to do a review on this knife, guys, but I am waiting till I hit at least 2 years with it. At least I'm going to try to. This is a good knife, guys. I really do like this knife. It's a mix between, from what I understand, it's a high carbon stainless steel kind of mix. It does throw sparks pretty well. Which is one of the things that you do need to worry about with stainless steel. And that was something, again, that I looked for. I wanted a stainless steel knife because of the amount of time that I spend on the water. It's just not conducive for me to have a knife that I have to oil all the time. Something made out of high carbon steel. High carbon steel has its own advantages, but I wanted a knife that I could throw on my belt and just use it and not have to worry about it. That's basically what it came down to. I will say this is one of the few knives that I have owned that had some really effective jimping. Again, some of that's going to go with the size of your hand, but this one fits my hand like a glove. It's a really good knife. I'm not going to do a whole review on it right now. I kind of would like to, but I'm not going to. That's not this video. A good belt knife is the main thing that I'm getting at here. You do want to have a good belt knife. It does not have to be a $125 belt knife. You know, depending on your budget, maybe it's a $500 knife, maybe it's a $15 knife. But buy a good belt knife, guys. Just as your EDC. Okay, doesn't mean it has to go on your belt all the time. Just means it's around when you need it. Is basically my definition of EDC. In addition to that, guys, really good, nice sheath here. But again, I don't want to get into a whole review about just that. A pen. I probably use this more than anything, the exception of maybe the lighter and the pocket knife. And it's one of those things that if you don't have it, I gotta run around and try and find somebody who has a pen. So, a pen. That's not just for you, that's for everybody. You don't have to run around looking for a pen.